I styled top celebrities in Hollywood. Selena Gomez, Sarah Hyland, Olivia Holt, and then I quit. And I started dressing career women. And honestly, I always get asked about this because a lot of people assume it should be the opposite. So basically you start styling regular people, right? And then move up in your career and maybe one day you dress celebrities. But for me, it was quite the opposite. And in this videos, I'm gonna tell you what really happened, why I did it, why I quit dressing celebs to go help career women feel like the powerhouses they are. And then whether it was a good, maybe a bad, terrible, amazing decision. So as a child, I absolutely loved clothes. And I remember any money I got from my parents, like that weekly allowance, I would spend it like on new clothes. And as a teenager, I was playing violin professionally and my career was actually in music. But shopping and fashion was kind of like my hobby. And when I moved to Los Angeles in 2007, I wanted to play with an orchestra that recorded movie scores. But I didn't get into the orchestra and I was really, trying to figure out what to do with my life. And at the time, my friend, he was performing with Rob Thomas and at that time he asked me if I could go shopping with him. He knew I absolutely loved shopping, that I had some sort of eye for it. And he needed help picking the right outfit for his next performance. And then I remember it was one of the most amazing experiences to actually have someone I could shop for and really help. And he was the one actually who asked me, why don't you become a stylist? And then mind you, this was like 2006, 2007. I was living in Los Angeles and honestly didn't even know this was a real career. It just so happened, also my other friend worked at People magazine at the time and she put me in touch with an agency that represented stylists, makeup artists and hairstylists, and that's how I got on the roster as an intern. And I remember my first job, I was working with a stylist and she sent me to Saks Fifth Avenue on Wilshire in Beverly Hills. She basically said, pull 10 looks for Jeremy Piven. We are shooting a cover for LA magazine. I had no idea what I was doing. It was my first ever experience working on set, shopping, organizing clothes, dealing with production, and learning how to pull everything together behind the scenes. And I just remember thinking, this is literally my dream. And from there, what I did, I started building my portfolio. I was emailing literally anyone I could, photographers, agencies. I was working a lot for free. I was interning, I was assisting. And within maybe 9 months, I put my portfolio together and got signed by an agent. And being Los Angeles, most of the jobs I got were lifestyle photo shoots, magazine editorials, music videos, a little bit of commercials. But because at the time there weren't, that many red carpet events and celebrity styling wasn't even a thing yet, okay? And then I remember I started working a lot with Disney Channel and they hired me to dress their talent for different projects. So everything from music videos to commercials to print. And that's how I started working with Selena Gomez, with Demi Lovato, with Sarah Hyland, and a bunch of other stars as well. And at that time, red carpet started becoming a big deal, meaning stars started hiring stylists to dress them for events. And because before that, it was actually the publicist doing it. And that's how I started working regularly with Selena Gomez, with Sarah Hyland, with Olivia Holt. I will tell you, this was extremely rewarding, but also, oh my gosh, such a high pressure and very, very stressful. A lot of things were, done super last minute. I had very little time to prep. And I was dealing with, high caliber production, big name directors. It was a lot. And at that time, I started to feel like something was missing in terms of my career choice. I had, really, really great clients, but some of them, I sort of felt like there were too many people in a camp making the decision. So to give you an example what I'm talking about, for example, I was doing a fitting with a client, and then I had to take a picture of all the best outfits that both of us chose, right? And then I would have to send all those pictures to a publicist, to a manager, to an assistant, to mom, sometimes more people, even agents. And all of those people were also part of the decision making on which outfit my client should wear. Mind you, those people, this wasn't their skill, this wasn't their authority, it was just their opinion. So I started to feel like, as much as I wanted to help my clients build their brand and pick the best outfit for them, my choice, my authority wasn't as important anymore. It started to sort of feel like every time I was shopping, it was just sort of like another dress for another event. And I really started to feel it. It started, asking myself, what else is out there for me? Where can I go from here, right? Yes, I was working with top stars, big names, but inside I sort of felt like my work wasn't really valued, and I wasn't satisfied with where I was. I was starting to feel sort of like a really big burnout, and I was getting those phone calls from management and publicists asking, hey, I have a new client, can you work with her? And I remember I was just getting so much anxiety over those calls, and it sort of started to feel like it isn't something I actually want to continue doing anymore. It felt very repetitive, and it felt extremely expected. And I was like, I said that, I felt it like, just like I said, like another dress for another event. And I kept thinking, where can I go from here? How can I sort of improve? At the time, I also gave a birth to my beautiful daughter. And to be honest, I could not imagine having fittings at like 8 p.m., running from like fittings to my seamstress, being on call every time a client needed me. It just felt like I needed to change something in my career. I just wasn't really sure how to do it and where to go, and how would that even look. And then in March of 2020, when the pandemic hit, there was absolutely nothing happening. And to be honest, I was kind of glad. But also, around that time, one of my first online clients reached out to me. Her name is Mallory. And she had just gotten promoted and was looking to hire a stylist to help her refine her current wardrobe to match her new role and one of the big companies. She was in Texas at the time. And she was my first online client. She did the consultation. I remember going, through her closet, and I think we spent like a good 3 or 4 hours on that. And then I shopped to filling the gaps and blanks, whatever was missing in her closet. And I remember her telling me, there are so many women out there like me who really need help with their wardrobe. Why don't you help other women just like me? And that's, when that light bulb went sort of in my head. And it all really started with Mallory. She had a massive transformation, not just in how she dressed, but in how, she showed up. Before we worked together, she sort of felt embarrassed and really self-conscious because her wardrobe didn't really reflect her skills, didn't reflect her authority. It didn't support her presence, whether she was, presenting, walking into the office, or even sitting on a panel. And I knew exactly what she was feeling because I had felt it too. After years of working as a stylist for celebrities, dressing, those A-listers for like red carpet events, any other major events and editorials, I understood what clothes could do and how wardrobe impact, confidence, presence, and the way we actually carry ourselves. But seeing that shift in career women like Mallory, that was the sign. And this was, the work I was meant to do. It wasn't just about another dress for another event. It was about helping smart and capable women show up in a way that matched their expertise. When their wardrobe aligned with who they already were, everything changed. They were invited to speak on big stages. They were approached. They were respected, remembered, not because of their clothes, but because their clothes finally matched their power. That shift was, personal for me too. I realized I didn't just want to dress people. I wanted to help them move forward. And and I had that exact experience to do that, because years of the fast pacing, high pressure styling work trained me to create a look for any scenario, for any timeline, for any personality. So now I teach career women how to do that for themselves. So last year I actually created a group program specifically for professionals and entrepreneurs who are ready to refine their wardrobe and use it as a tool for growth, so they get the respect, attention, authority they have earned in their career or their business. And seeing my clients step into that kind of presence, that's the most rewarding move I've ever made basically in my career. So now you know exactly why I moved on from dressing celebrities to dress career women. This channel is for you if you're a career woman and you feel like your wardrobe is not reflecting your authority, your skill, and your presence. This channel is for you. So don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell to get notified when I post a new video, which is every Wednesday. And thanks so much for watching. I see you next week.